place here is what they call Home Path. Home Path is a special program by, it's Fannie Mae, right? Okay, Fannie Mae. I get Fannie Mae and Freddie confused. Home Path, Home Step, whatever. So it's a program that you can buy this with very little money down. Okay. As you see, this is move-in ready, guys. Somebody can move into this place right now as a Section 8 tenant, as a normalized tenant. You know, yes, it's got green walls, but how many have ever rented a house? Did you have them paint the house for you, put new carpet? No. You're like, okay, well, it's good enough. We're just going to be there for a year. What's that?
I painted.
There you go. Or you paint yourself. So, with this piece of property here, where is our numbers? Lisa and Kelly? What are, well, do we have the numbers on the book there? On the sheet?
If I can borrow somebody's sheet.
List price is 85.
List price is 85. What do you think, what are we worth here? It's a condo, townhouse thing. So is that kind of close to what value is?
Hang on.
Say maybe 90, 95?
It's 120 through 122.
Okay.
You know, that's a lot of 8,000 feet. Instead of 3,900 square feet lot. This is a very small lot compared to some of the
Yes. But, like I said, to a renter, this is great. No maintenance on the outside. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. So here's the cool thing. You buy this, you put, what, 3% down? As an investor, you might have to put 10% down. Okay? It's going to cash flow, guys. What do you think this would rent for? 11, 12?
All day.
11, 1,200 a month. And without going through and sitting down and doing all the math and everything, you're probably looking at close to break even or a little bit of positive cash flow. 2, 3, 4 years ago, positive, that sounds like a song. 2, 3, 4 years ago, you're looking at negative cash flow on any investment that you're going to do. And the realtors were telling you at that time that this is a great deal. You know, you might need some tax write-off with all the money you're making. So this property right here, very, very, very little money out of pocket. You put somebody in here, you get $100 a month positive cash flow. It doesn't sound like a lot, but let me explain to you what a group that I used to work with in Florida did with the VA assumables. Okay, and this kind of relates to the same thing. VA at one time was assumed with no qualifying, 0 down. Do you remember that? Okay. And if it was a VA foreclosure, that was available to the general public. You did not have to be a veteran. Now here's where Cliff made mistakes, and I teach from the mistakes that I made. How many of those should I have bought? All of them. How many did I buy? None, because I thought it was stupid. I didn't want to make $100 a month because I could buy this and flip it and make $15,000. So I turned away the $100 a month to make the $15,000. Well, the guy that owned the group that I was doing business with that was buying all of these, he also bought really, really cheap houses in the other part of town that nobody else would go to. And again, I was buying those same houses on the other side of the tracks and getting $20,000 profit. He was making $400 or $500 a month cash flow. And I says, you know, why do you mess with this crap when you could come over here and make 20,000 bucks? You're going to make $300 a month? I says, why would you do that? And he says, it's real simple, Cliff. He says, I make $300, $400 per property, and I have 400 properties. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. So think outside the box. Don't be sitting here thinking what you've already known, that you have to make every single, you know, you got to make $40,000 on this property. You're not going to do it. You're not going to put deals together. Bring that number down into reality. Make $10,000 on this, or make $100 a month. What is this place going to be worth in 10 years?
Twice as much.
No, let's say you get 6%. Yeah, it's worth how much?
120.
120. It's going to be worth about 160, 150. somewhere in that range.
In 10 years?
In 10 years. Well, if you get slow appreciation, which I think we're going to get for the next 5 years, and we're still coming down a little bit, but then we're at the bottom. We're not directly at the bottom, and you'll never be able to just say, well, let's buy us the bottom, because you'll never know. But it's going to come back. So if you buy this with a 15-year plan of holding this for 15 years, and you make $100 a month, what are the tax benefits you're going to get out of this? Are you going to be able to write most of this thing off? Yeah. So I mean, when you figure this out, and I'm not an accountant, you got to talk to your CPA because each individual is going to be different. But you could walk away where you're making $300 a month off of this after all your tax benefits. If you got 10 of them, now you're making $3,000 a month. If you have 100 of them, you're making $30,000 a month. Do you have to go back to work anymore? Okay. The difficulty is getting financing, and everybody says, "Oh, but Cliff, you can only have 4 conventional loans." Well, you can have 10, but there's reasons why you can't, why you get shut down at 4. Compensating factors are things that are going to change your life. I can go out and get a loan with a 400 credit score. You know how? 50% LTV, and I've got 6 months in reserves in the bank, right? To make the mortgage payment for 6 months, I can put 12 months of reserves in the bank. And then you can get a mortgage for that. Does that make sense? It's a compensating factor. So let's say you got really good credit, but you have no cash. Your good credit will buy the loan. You understand? And put little down, like this house, 3% down. If you got good credit, you can buy this with 3% down.
0 to 80.
You understand? So the compensating factor on this is little money out of pocket, little return. Now, if you can buy this and buy it for $50,000, $60,000, now you're going to get that 28% return on your investment, right? But if you're putting $3,000, $6,000, $9,000, $10,000 down on this, and you're making $100 a month, and I think you can do better than that, I really do, but just $100 a month, figure out what that $9,000 would do in the bank versus this. And you're way ahead. If you're at $200, $300 after taxes for $9,000, what do you do in 10 years? You refinance it. Pull some money out. Pull like $9,000 out of it. So if you pull $9,000 out of it and you're still making $100 positive cash flow, how much do you have invested in this house? Nothing. What's your return?
100%.
It's this. Okay? You're making money on no investment. That's the best thing you can do. I mean, the best thing you can do is wake up in the morning and all 6 numbers match and the Powerball. But then 43 people hit it, and it was a $43 million jackpot. All right, so you guys get that? This is phenomenal. Those guys that had the 400 houses and you're making $300 or $400 a month positive cash flow, do the math. The reason that they were buying more houses is because every month they got enough to go buy more houses with. Get that cycle going. Get that cycle going. It's not get rich quick. It's not hitting the lottery. Yes.
Can you recap on what we just learned? If you could just give them a heading. Like, I feel like we learned 2 really big techniques right there.
Okay, the 2 techniques are, number 1, don't always look for the big bucks. Okay? A lot of little bucks add up to what? Big bucks. Okay? And then the second thing is with
3%.
With a small down payment and small cash outlay, even though you're getting a small return, you're building wealth. Okay? Imagine where you would be right now if 10 years ago you knew that if you just bought all these little houses and made a couple $100 each house, in 10 years if you bought 2 a year, which you all could have done. I mean, you could have done this and made $200 a property. All right, you'd have how many now? 20 houses. That's $4,000 a month. How many people work for a living and make $4,000 a month? Do you understand? It's now. Oh, you're like, but Cliff, we got to deal with all the tenants and all the headaches. And okay, this is now your job. But this job is your job. You are the boss. Okay. I'm self-employed. What do you do if you're self-employed and you hate your boss?
Fire yourself
So now listen,
forever.
if you would have just done that 10 years ago, you'd have, how many houses? 20 houses, right? 10 years, 2 houses a year, 20 houses, times $400, or times $200, you're $4,000, right? Would you have to go to work? Okay? Now, I would, because I need a lot more than $4,000 a month, just because of what I do and how I am.
You'd buy 10 more homes.
I'd buy 10 more homes.
There you go.
Okay, do you see? So, 30 homes is not a lot. I know people with hundreds of homes. There's somebody here in Bakersfield that has like 600 homes. I know someone who's from Salinas area, or San Francisco. I know somebody in Salinas that owns, I think it's 4,200 units. 4,200 units.
Hey Cliff, what's the real numbers? So if it's 3% down on this house and it's 100, how much is
It's
it?
85.
Isn't it
So
10%
8
for
and 8 is
investors?
16.
So
Isn't it 10% for investors?
Yeah, you can get. It depends on what you are and where you're at. You know,
so how much then to get into this house?
like around $9 grand.
So a little money from my savings, a little money from mom, and I'm in a house. That sounds good.